What is up, guys? It's Olympio here with...
I'm Anthony Cadigan. I came second in the Llds qualifier with Psy-Frames.
Psy-Frame, so I thought this would be an interesting one. So here we go. We're going to get straight into deck profile.
Alright, let's get to the point. Alright, so first off, we have 3 Psy-Frame Gib Gamma. He negates monster effects. He's probably one of my favorite cards in the game because, you know, they activate, they summon a monster, they try to do something. You negate it, get 2 free monsters. Sometimes you synchro, sometimes you don't. It's a great card.
Pretty good.
And then you got 3 Beta. These things are basically like Valkyrus on steroids with a slightly more iffy summoning condition, but still a great card nonetheless. We have Delta, the card that's the Bane of Necros. They play a spell card, summon it, make an Omega, dump more cards from their hand. And then we have Alpha. He searches things sometimes. But I don't like him. I think he's really situational, kind of a...
So you're not a fan of him. Would you change that in future build, or do you need him?
I think you need 3, but I don't think he advances your game state as much as the other ones do. But I guess that's the point of it. It's meant to set up for the rest of them. And then we have 1 Epsilon. In retrospective, I really wish I had more of these in one particular matchup. I think I would take it out of the main deck because I never used it in most of my games. But I would definitely side 3 of them for BA because my crush is a card.
Yeah.
And so is Emptiness, I guess. And then 3 Driver. He's Driver. He's like the core of the deck, I guess.
He just constantly summoned, isn't he?
Yes. And then 3 Rabbit. I'm not sure how I felt about these. Basically, the best way to defeat pure Psy-Frame is just by doing nothing and waiting for them to deck out. So you use Rabbit's kind of a stall breaker. Some people use Wave Motion Cannon, but I like the fact that this thing can do a lot more damage over time, which means if you do get things going, it's not just a dead card waiting there to be MST'd.
Yep.
So you attack during the end phase of battle phase, banish it. During the opponent's turn, you're free to do Psy-Frame things.
So you liked it at 3?
I'm not sure, actually. I always end up signing out 1, but it was always nice to have it. So it's one of those things where I don't want to open 2, but I don't want to not run 3. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
And then 3 card car. It's card car.
It's card car. You just need a bit of speed.
This is probably one of the best decks to run it in because number 1, draw 2 cards, which is great in this deck. Number 2, it uses your whole turn, which most of the time Psy-Frames won't even care about because they do most things during the opponent's turn. And number 3, it drops itself from the field, so it sets up for your Psy-Frame place.
Cool.
Then 3-part duality, kind of the same reason. You do nothing during your turn anyway, so you just might as well get some extra searches.
Yep.
3 Psy-Frame circuit, probably another core of the deck. Lets you synchro summon your opponent's turn. I actually managed to resolve the honest effects once, and it helped quite a lot. But you know, you don't really use it for that. It's just there, so you get some nice synchro summons. 2 terraforming. I didn't want to run 3 because I always end up in a situation where I will dead draw a last terraforming in the worst time. And 2 seem to work because this deck has enough searches as it is, and I find that you generally, if you don't open a circuit and you don't open terribly, you tend to be able to grind your way into it anyway.
Okay.
3 Psychic Field Zone. Absolutely love this card. Used to suck when it first came out because it's in defense position, but now you've got 2 monsters that jump off the field whenever you want them to.
Yeah.
You've got Omega, which drops cards, and Zeta, which drops monsters, and those things are absolutely brilliant.
Pretty good.
And it kind of gets around the downside of this card.
Yeah.
Also, because they're not being special summoned, they come back to the field every single turn. You basically lose nothing for it.
Pretty good, man.
2 Psychic Path. I honestly don't like this card. I played it and it did, it does its job. It gets back 2 Psy-Frames or a Driver and a Psy-Frame. But I find that when it comes down to crunch time, when your opponent knows which Psy-Frames you have, unless you've got a 3rd one hidden, generally they'll just play around it. I mean, it's still a great card, but it's not my favorite, which is I put it down at 2.
Would you consider taking it out, or would you?
I tend to decide 1 out every single game, so I might just drop it down to 1. Who knows?
Cool.
Raigeki. This was kind of a last-minute decision, and I think it was kind of counterintuitive because generally in Psy-Frames you don't want your opponent to be in a position where they don't have anything to do. You want them to be doing as much as possible per turn so that you can interrupt it. At the same time, I also respect the fact that there will be situations where Psy-Frame simply can't get out of it with just 1 Psy-Frame, like Beta, for example. You really need to clear the field. For example, if they have a full field of Necros, Vanities and Majesty's Fiend, there's a lot of things you just want to avoid, so I thought it would be the best thing to put it in there. As for traps, 3 Overload. Probably the most ridiculous card in the game right now because it's the only card I can think of that gets cards off the field and puts them in a place where you cannot reach them under any circumstances besides, I guess, Omega.
Yeah.
And that's just brilliant. I worship this card. It won me so many games. It's great for the grind game. You know, it reduces the amount of plays they have, and also if you are in a position where you don't have a circuit on the field, you can just flip Overload during the end phase, banish one of the cards, and you've basically got a free negation or a free search, and then you get a free banish for this. And then finally, Bottomless Trap Hole, just a one-off. It's Bottomless Trap Hole. I thought that maybe Overload wouldn't be enough. I was kind of wrong, but at the same time I do respect the fact that Bottomless Trap Hole is a ridiculously good card, even though it's not completely necessary anymore.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the extra or the side next?
Go to the extra and then the
Extra.
side.
Okay, cool. So 2 Omega. Probably one of the favorite cards in the game. If you don't know what it does is during other player's main phase, you can banish it and one card in your opponent's hand until your next standby phase. During next standby phase, you can return a banished card to the grave. So you tend to combo it with this to get infinite searches.
Yep.
And then if it's in the graveyard, you can return it to the extra deck and then return one other card in either player's grave to the deck, which is really handy if they have, for example, a Necro's Mirror in the grave, or I don't even know what the cool kids are playing these days, to be honest. I rarely ever use the effect for anything other than returning the odd, whatever you call it, field zone or that kind of stuff. 3 Zeta. Zeta he's a pretty great card, but at the same time, he carries a massive risk because if you summon it really carelessly, you put yourself in a position where your opponent can just, say, make a Castel in defense, or make a 101, or just not do anything, and now you've got a Zeta that you can't get off the field, which means they're free to use any spells and traps and monster effects until it dies. Besides that, I think it's a pretty great card. The second effect, which returns one from the grave to the hand, is just ridiculous. So the second they manage to kill it, if they manage to kill it, or if you, I don't know, field zone it into an Omega, you're basically getting yourself a free card to make it again.
Yeah.
The cards I never actually used today. Thorilla Archfiend, I thought every so often it will come in handy. I guess against BA or something you can negate Wing Blast and whatnot. Hot Red, I think he's pretty good. Just, I guess against sort of like Shadows or Necros, or they might make a massive field. You drop a Delta or a Gamma somehow, bring it out. Besides that, it's just a filler card. Crimson Blader, you will know it does. Honest to God, I think this card is trash right now. But I needed the deck space, and there's nothing else to put in there. Starter Spark, he's pretty handy, I guess. You can use him to prevent circuit from being destroyed, prevent Overload from being MST'd, prevent itself from dying as well. But again, just filler. Clearing Synchro Dragon is actually one that I really like a lot, especially against something like Necros. So let's say, for example, they've got a Unicorn on the field, or they summon the Unicorn, or they attack with the Unicorn. You drop Beta or Alpha, summon this, and then the next Trishula they summon, the next Pryac they use, will activate on the field, just is negated. Same with Valkyrus.
Pretty good.
Instinct Wyvern, he's a great follow-up to Beta. You know, you end the battle phase, you destroy a monster, drop this thing on the field. You've now got a God knows how strong Beta that revives itself every so often. And Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, I like him again because you drop it on, let's say, a Castel or a 101 or anything really. Get your Alpha Search and then make this, bounce it back if you ever feel the need to do that. It's great against cautious opponents, I guess. Michael, every so often he's handy. The mill is kind of a pain, but the 1,000 to banish and finish its body, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Black Rose, in a deck like this, which summons on your opponent's turn, you really want a Black Rose because it means that if they play pretty carelessly, you can just wipe their entire field for basically no cost. I mean, you can easily recover anything you nuke with it. And finally, Yahtzee, just for BA because it can't be targeted, and I guess it can pop itself as well, which is another bonus. You can use it against. Well, you can use it to drop yourself from the field whenever you need to, and then you can just get back to doing Psy-Frame things.
Pretty good. And now
the side deck. The side deck I wasn't too pleased with. It was very sort of last minute, but a lot of the choices I made I thought helped quite a lot. So we got the 3 MST, just because I didn't want to main them.
Yeah.
The 3 Mistake. Now, the way I see it, Psy-Frames are lucky in the sense that they are affected by Iron Wall like Mirror of Mistake, but they can still function pretty well under them. So I thought I'll play 3 Mistake. It helps a lot against Necros. It actually won me the last game. You know, if Tellers are ever a thing again, it's good against them.
Yeah.
Its usefulness is largely dependent on the format, I suppose. Then Shadow Mirror, great for BA, great for Shadows. Doesn't do anything to me, so you know what's not to like. And then Decree, I kind of felt that this is a bad choice to put in because it goes against kind of like the idea of the deck. You want your opponent to be doing as much as possible, and if you've blanket negated all their traps, you're not going to be able to advance your game state as much. You risk getting into a situation where they just set end until you deck out. On the other side, you do have the ability to blanket negate all of BA's traps, which helps to no end. But then again, at the same time, you have Epsilon that can potentially do the same thing. So it's really a matter of preference. I liked using it, but I don't think it's the best choice. And then finally, Iron Wall. Like I was saying before, these Psy-Frames are affected by this thing, but they can function enough underneath it to get the game going. You still got stuff like Llds, Moonlight Dragon. And then I guess Zeta is still pretty handy because it floats. And honestly, against stuff like Infernoids and the occasional Necros match, even against other Psy-Frames sometimes, the ability to not be able to banish cards is very handy to me.
Yeah.
Alright, and that's the entire deck.
So overall, what was your easiest matchup and worst matchup?
Easiest matchup today, I would say, was Shadows. It was a calamity for them. They function very, very slowly when you can negate everything they do. Like Shadow Fusion, just drop a Delta. And then you've also got an Omega Witch. They can now drop a card from their hand. If they attack, you can just fight in the battle phase, get a Zeta, banish their construct or their window. If they flip a Hedgehog or try to go for some Exceed shenanigans, you got a Gamma, and again, make an Omega, get rid of the cards in their hand. So it's really an uphill battle for them.
And any changes you would make to the build?
Any changes? Most definitely. I feel like I really should have sided more Epsilons because BA is a genuine threat, and Mind Crush is a card.
Fair enough.
Mind Crush is the bane of my existence right now, actually. I guess Emptiness is a bane of the ass as well.
So any shout-outs you want to make before we wrap it up?
Yes, I will shout out to my best friend Anthony. He's just over there. If you want to come in here and say hi. That's shy. Shouts to Magic Madhouse. They just recently gave me a job, so I'm very appreciative for that. And they're probably the reason I got all the cards I needed to in time. Sorry to anyone who wanted to buy them. I just kind of opened the bags and saved them for myself straight away. And yeah, that should be it.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the deck profile, guys. And it's Olympio signing out.
Until next time.